By pressing down a special key, it plays a little melody. By pressing down a special key, it plays a little melody.
And you think you can help me, maybe you can turn on your heels and save me, but I don't wanna be like the boys that you keep in tow, like your Valentine stones, souls, diamonds and gold, grown cold, Valentine stones, lost souls, diamonds and gold, grown cold, Valentine stones. Someone said we live together. I ran out come quietly, just asking a glass of water. You don't know me, don't try me. Nobody gonna pick me up. I'm falling down, and I'm Fifth Street bound. Now nobody won't fill me up. I'm falling down. None of my friends around. Seen it on the news. Look like me and you. Did they hear me calling? Blue water, black rider, keep on rolling, keep on riding. Oh, silver, old Tar River, keep running. Black water, old river, that old Tar River just keeps rising inside me. Nobody gonna pick me up. I'm falling down, and I'm Fair Street bound. Seen it on the news. Some never seem to lose. They say the rest are falling. I've seen it on the news. It wasn't mine to lose. Do they hear me calling? Keep rising. Keep rising. Oh, Tar River, Tar River, it grows inside me. Keeps on running, keeps rising, keeps rising. Keeps rising, keep rising.
Hey, YouTube. Y'all can hear us. Y'all can see us. Great. We are about to jump into a absolutely fun, awesome time together with our guest here. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR, Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 240. We hope you and yours are well, and with everything crazy going on, we want to continue to be a platform that promotes positivity, life, and hope, and a little Star Wars along the way. Why not? Today, we are talking to writer and toy photographer Max Sabin. Max, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited for this. So
yeah, it's going to be a good time. Before we go plunging into those action figures and models and everything else, let's see who we got here. Miss Carla Giacalone. Welcome back.
What up, y'all?
Always a pleasure to have you on. And Mr. Double D Double F himself, Todd Hoffman.
I always
crack up that Carla is like a Southern Jersey girl.
Yeah.
Y'all,
Y'all.
Howdy, y'all.
howdy, y'all.
Awesome.
Well,
Always.
I'm also excited to talk about toys and all that fun stuff.
It's man-child time. Let's get right into it. Heather's got the night off, so Carla, you'll have to take her place and go ahead and tease that news.
Okie doke. So I've got 4 this evening. Got a big lineup.
Ooh.
First little teaser is I hate sand.
Hmm.
Gets everywhere.
Yeah.
It's coarse
bueno.
and irritating and all that stuff. Second one, get your tickets.
Ooh.
Keep that in mind. Third one, save your credits.
Republic credits?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh.
Republic.
Maybe. And fourth one, we have a date.
Finally.
Finally. Good.
We'll see what that's all about later on.
Okay, the news has been teased. That means only one thing. Communications disruption, which means one thing, invasion. No, it means it's time for our main topic.
All right. Well, the communication things, we'll talk about that later, but that was like Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp app or whatever, what app or everything was down. Everything is down. All right. So the force works in mysterious ways, just like Facebook and Instagram, whatever. I was doing a presentation at work. And of course, I brought up that not only am I, I got a great family and I got all this stuff and I like Star Wars. And I showed a couple pictures and I have 2 podcasts because one's not enough, all that kind of stuff. And one of my coworkers is like, hey, you should check out my son because he does like toy stuff and photography. I'm like, oh, okay. And he gave me his Instagram handle. I'm like, dude, I don't follow him. I know this guy. So that's the connection here. So I work with Max's dad, Scott. And so that's the weird connection here. But we're so happy to have you on the show. But before we get into all the toy photography and all that kind of stuff, why don't you we start with the tough question here first. How did you get into Star Wars?
All right. I love this question. It's one of my favorites. So, like you said, my dad kind of grew up a Star Wars fan, but wasn't diehard like us. But he introduced me to the movies when I was at a young age. 4, 5, 6. He preferred 4 the most, but I always was more into 5. But we had, I think it was the 2004 limited edition box set with the behind the scenes. I still have those 4 DVDs right out in my living room. I've been trying to convince my girlfriend to watch them with me, but unfortunately she prefers Harry Potter. So that's how that goes.
Okay,
but
that's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. That in addition to having a lot of neighborhood kids when I was younger, who had a lot of cool action figures, stuff like that. It kind of worked in a really nice way, I would say, allowing me to both enjoy my passion for like military and then having that also in Star Wars.
Okay.
It just kind of worked out really well.
So what's intrigues you about the military? Where did that come from?
With Star Wars, having like a set military with the Empire, I thought that like just having an organized, massive military, I thought that was just insane. Like the Star Destroyers, the Death Star. I thought it was super cool. And I more focused on like the look aspect when I was younger, of course. And then as I got older, started to kind of look more into the politics, like actually dig deeper into the lore, if that makes sense.
Trade routes, taxation on
Yeah.
trade routes. Yeah.
My
That's
favorite
good stuff
part of
right
the
there. So what kind of piqued your interest with photography in general? How did that start? Where did that begin?
So my grandfather was always a big photographer. There was hardly any time as a kid where we would show up to our grandparents' house and he would not have a camera in his hands. So from a young age, I was exposed to a lot of camera work, stuff like that. And also, in addition to having action figures as a kid, if I was playing by myself or bored, I would set up these miniature scenes. And I always wanted to remember what had happened like 3 weeks ago. And I borrowed my mom's little digital camera, like the square ones before smartphones. And I would take hundreds of pictures of just like, you know, a stormtrooper like T-posing in a river or something like that.
Mhm.
And it eventually, over time, I got my my own camera, this big boy right here.
Okay.
And I was able to make those stories more detailed. And it kind of just has created or been morphed into this hobby that I have now.
Do you have a name for the hobby? I mean, do you call yourself a
Toy photography? I do.
Yeah.
For the right crowd, but yeah.
Right. It's not what it might not lead with that, but eventually comes out. Yeah.
You just have to mention the X amount of followers on social media, and then people's ears perk up. So.
Oh. Why action figures and toys? Like what, you know, there's a lot of things you could take pictures of. Why did that? Was that just because of the childhood transition there that you're like, I like doing this, and now as I get to an adulthood, I still like doing that, and that's where your passion's at?
Yeah, so it kind of started off, like I said, just, you know, generic clones versus droids or stormtroopers versus rebels. But as I got older, I wanted to kind of explore the human aspect, because, I mean, other than FN2 or Finn or FN2187 in the more recent movies, we don't really see stormtroopers humanized all that much. And if we think about it, they were humans too, and being able to show them in really scenes of combat, honestly, I wanted to capture that. And that kind of morphed into my my thesis that I had when I graduated college with my English degree, how veterans use toy photography as a means of expressing themselves if they suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, stuff like that as well.
Wow.
Why do you think that is, that they would choose this hobby over others?
So in my project, when I asked one of the veterans that, he said stormtroopers, you don't see their physical faces. They all have the same flat, generic stormtrooper helmet. And using that, he could play out scenes that he had gone through himself, for instance, an ambush that he survived. He sets up scenes like that, and he's able to maybe relive isn't the best answer there, but basically set up a 3D diorama of what happened using faceless troopers, and then kind of go over, this is what actually went down, this is what I could have done, and then this is what ended up happening. So
That's fascinating.
Oh, that's really interesting.
I mean, it's like, because one of the things that makes the Empire kind of cool, and obviously like Carl and I are part of the 501st, so and I'm a stormtrooper, so that's part of the reason why I like being a stormtrooper, because I'm not like a hero character, I'm just like a soldier. And part of that is also you kind of get lost in that, where it's like they're not looking at me, they're looking at like something else, which is cool. And now that you say that, it kind of makes sense if you're dealing with something as stressful as real war, not this pew pew fake stuff. It's like, I can understand, I could definitely relate to that, where it's like almost kind of escapism, but also like a therapy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what my main point was. Before I even got started on my project, I found out that there's a form of therapy that involves, it's called sand therapy, where you basically get a 3x5 box, and the counselor has a shelf full of like trucks, buildings, figurines of animals, people, and tells whoever's in therapy. And it doesn't, also, I should mention, it's not just for veterans, it can be for anyone. But the research that I found was that it was mostly done with veterans. And then I found that toy photography is just kind of another avenue with that. You're just taking pictures of the scene. Normally the counselor, at least in the research that I did, said that taking pictures isn't really advised, just for sake of, you know, holding on to something and remembering it. But I mean, it seems to work for the guys that I interviewed. So
That's super interesting, just because like I studied psychology and all that. So it's actually very it's used a lot with children too. Play
Yes, yeah.
therapy, sand therapy. So yeah, it's almost like this way for them to not relive it, like you said, but it's almost like this way of like coping with what they went through, because in that moment they're not able to think about what's happening or what's going on. And then, you know, they need that time afterwards to process it and go through it. And through using, you know, toys, models, things like that, it's a way for them to, you know, kind of express how they feel about it. It's almost like a cathartic type of thing. So that's super interesting. Very, very cool stuff.
I don't think Anakin would have
you.
benefited much from sand therapy. But I do find it fascinating just how it lets you replay these kind of memories and scenes that could be fairly traumatic, but in a way where you have control over it. And
Mhm.
it's also, you have this kind of depersonalization where, like you mentioned, with the stormtroopers just all being faceless and identical, it kind of gives you the safety to be like, okay, well, this was so-and-so and this was so-and-so. And the degree to which that you bond with and identify these representations, it's all in your control. Super interesting. I never would have thought.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, you know, Instagram is like, you know, picture, but with your post in particular, you go really deep into some of the scenes that you set up. So I know you mentioned you like history, and obviously you said you're major in English. So what is it about that you like, not only setting the scene, but also almost telling a story with each of the pictures? So can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So I've always enjoyed writing stories, whether that was in my head or even drawing them on paper and then actually using action figures for it. Being able to do that helped me with getting over the loss of my grandfather, kind of in a way that I was mentioning sand therapy did, just in a different aspects. I would say mostly, let me take a look at the question. When it comes to history, I love looking at vintage pictures. Like I have a massive collection of World War II books, and I'll sometimes skim through it if I have a day off or I'm just bored, and see if anything piques my interest, or if I can say, hey, I can recreate that with a battle droid or a clone trooper. One of my most recent shots was a picture of, I think, 3 battle droids in a trench. And I got the inspiration from a photo from a World War I book where it was, I think a British raiding party looking at the bodies of fallen German soldiers. And I wanted to recreate that. And it's not often, at least not in toy photography, where you see droids winning battles. Usually they're on the receiving end of a lightsaber or a clone blaster bolt. But having clones lying face down in the dirt with battle droids standing over them, I thought it was different. You don't see that very often. So yeah, I hope I answered your question there. Did I?
You did. Yes.
You passed the
There's
test.
no wrong
Okay,
answers.
good. Good.
Yeah, right. You know, one of the things that, you know, there's a lot of setup time. So can you tell us a little bit about like how a particular shot comes together? Is it like an idea? And then how does that, like, are you doing that in your backyard? Do you have a favorite spot? Like what are those things that kind of come together?
Yeah,
you know,
I do have a few favorite spots, both up here in Fargo where I live, and then back
Fargo.
home. Yep. Mostly I like to go to like construction sites. I like having dust, like actual particles that can look like artillery rounds falling or stuff like that. But what I'll do is I'll listen to music in my headphones, depending on what the shot is. I've caught myself listening to Vote On, the Republic Commando theme song,
Yeah.
recently when I've been shooting commando shots. But I'll listen to a wide range of music. And if something just comes into my head, that's what I'll set up the scene. I like doing construction sites because you sometimes can get lucky with like concrete pipes or pieces of tubing, and it makes it look like it's a structure. So maybe you could have like rebels breaching like a stormtrooper safe house or the vice versa or something like that, like a bunker. Honestly, it just kind of comes together in the moment. But like going back to the pictures of books or pictures from books, I'll look at those sometimes, or I have a bunch of World War II photos saved on my phone and just kind of skim through those and then maybe combine two of them with rebels or stormtroopers or something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, do you build your own sets or do you try to do it, like you said, kind of like whatever out there?
Whatever's out there.
Okay.
I've tried in the past using like cardboard boxes or milk cartons, and
Yes.
I could never get the painting down. There are a lot of other toy photographers that are incredible at it.
Yes.
They literally make entire, like Mose Eisley, for example, they could make the whole thing in a day. And
Right.
I wish I had that ability, but unfortunately the artistic ability was mostly given to my brother and sister, but I got the camera work. So
right. Yeah, because like there's a lot, a lot on that, and obviously on Instagram, where they do a lot of behind the scenes and they show like them making the foam sets, and then they get the lighting, and then they spraying stuff, and you get the fog, and then all of a sudden you get this one cool shot, So it's I didn't know if you were into that as much, because that's a big part of too. That's a lot of metal building and stuff like that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Cool.
I wish I had it in me.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like I'm checking out your Instagram right now. There's like this one shot you have of like the Republic Commandos, and you've got like dirt and stuff like flying all over. Like, how do you do that? That's super cool.
So unfortunately, my normal tripod actually got broken the day that I was shooting that. I don't know what. I just tried to set it up and it collapsed on me and it broke. So I had to set my camera up on my camera bag and then set it to a timer for about 10 seconds. And then I just started kicking like crazy. And I think I got maybe 5 of them, but only that one turned out well, where there wasn't like a rock blocking one of their helmets or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dope.
Kicking dirt.
Thank you. Yeah. I like to think
Very
that
cool.
when I first started out, I was a little self-conscious. Like if someone walked by, I'd kind of like hide or pretend I was doing nothing inconspicuous. But at this point, I've been doing it for about 9 years. Someone comes up to me, they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm shooting toys. What's up with you?" And they're like,
Love that confidence.
It's funny because I've gotten to actually meet a lot of really cool people through that. There's a place back in my hometown that I like to go to, and I was shooting on a hill, like literally covered in dirt. I'd been out there for 3 hours, and someone on a bike came by and literally jumped off and threw their bike thinking I was dead. And they ran up to me and it startled me. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And they're like, "Oh, you're alive." I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't mean to scare you." And eventually he still follows me on Instagram. So that was pretty cool. But
That is amazing.
Hey, do you remember me? I was a guy that thought you were dead.
Yeah.
No, right. I totally understand that, like the self-conscious part, but like what's been one of your other unique experiences, like when people run up to you and be like, "What are you doing?"
there are 2 that instantly came to mind. There was a little a little boy ran up to me when I was in a park, and I think I was shooting, it was Star Wars, because he picked up one of my stormtroopers and was playing with it, and his mom came over and was like, "I am so sorry." I'm like, "No, I don't mind at all." And I let him set up the scene. I let him like kind of do what he wanted. It was, it was a younger kid, so it was kind of silly, but I ended up posting it and I got a really good reception. So if that little boy is grown up and is listening, you're doing good, man.
Yeah. Dude.
But the other story
awesome.
I have, it was actually, this was about 5 years ago. I was out shooting and I heard like a stomping noise. and I looked and there was nothing there. And maybe like 5 minutes go by and I look and there is a mama deer, maybe about 15 feet away from me, just clicking her hoof right into the dirt. Like, I think I didn't see a younger deer or a baby deer or a fawn. I think that's what they're called. But
Fawn, yes, yeah.
that was my moment. It's like, oh, I should probably, I don't want to be intruding on her space. So that was definitely the biggest one for me that I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. invading mama deer space. I gotta hold back
Exactly.
there. Yeah. So how do you choose the next thing? You know, I mean, obviously there's a lot of different action figures out there, but you kind of stick with the military theme. What like how do you, from a creative perspective, is it just like you said, kind of looking at the photography of other, you know, World War I or II stuff, or what is that process for you?
Yeah. So I have them out in my garage right now, but I just have them all in this big tub, and I'll kind of look in and say, okay, what scene or like what are you thinking right now, Max? And it's like, okay, I could set up this scene using clones or rebels. As it starts to get snowy here in Fargo in the next couple weeks, I'm really hoping, that's a joke, by the way. I hope that I can bust out the Hoth Rebel figurines and set up like a Hoth trench network. I'm still waiting for Black Series to release the Endor Rebel Commandos. Those are the holy grail for me at the moment to be able to finally have a scene. But yeah, it just kind of comes by what looks or would be interesting, or what haven't I seen on Instagram a lot.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, there's a lot of other toy photographers, and it's
Yes.
like, okay, there was a lot of stormtrooper shots today. Let's throw in a clone, or let's throw in a battle droid,
Right.
or something like that. So
It's a very intuitive.
Now, do you like using?
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do you like using 3 3/4, or you like the 6-inch?
I'm more fond of the 3/4 inch. It's just that's the scale I grew up on. But the 6-inch, the articulation that you get with that, the accessories, it's hard to beat it. You get more detailed shots out of it, but there's a more diverse selection of 3/75-inch figurines. You have a lot more comic book characters than they've ever made for 6-inch. So, and it kind of depends on how I'm feeling. Plus, there's not a 6-inch clone gunship out yet. So hopefully one day we get that. But I like being able to use vehicles, props, stuff like that.
Okay. As like a background kind of type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. A 6-inch gunship would be rather huge, but I dig it.
I don't know if I have the space for it yet. It might take up one of the stalls in my garage.
Right.
What's been a like unexpected challenge for you as you've undertaken this hobby, and maybe things that went wrong that you didn't expect would go wrong?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Two things come to mind. My first one is I've been doing toy photography since December 29th, 2012. I was a sophomore in high school. I had just lost my grandfather. And when I started out, there was nothing. It was just me posting pictures of my collection. I had no idea, no thought of writing stories behind it, making it really a big part of my life. I hardly told anybody. I was, embarrassed by it. So one of the challenges I had was kind of coming out of my shell and telling people like, hey, I enjoy Star Wars to the point that I take pictures in my free time of action figures. And I had so many of these action figures laying around from when I was a kid. It's like they're just collecting dust in a shoebox right now. I got to get a use out of them. So being able to tell friends and family, and at the time, teammates for football, hey, I do this. It was hard. And how cutthroat high school can be.
Yeah.
I got a little picked on, stuff like that. But it's interesting. Nowadays, like all these guys that I played football with in high school, they follow me and they're like, okay, your account was really cool, stuff like that. But yeah, just kind of opening up, coming out of my shell. That was one of the big first issues I had from like a mental standpoint. The other one is my camera is about 11 years old, so she's getting onto her last legs, and that's been a challenge trying to figure out like what. And it's interesting because my camera has little quirks, like it doesn't focus all the way, or it won't really do things correctly. Sometimes it's hard to transfer pictures from the camera to a laptop to a phone.
Right.
It's been a wild experience trying to figure out what works with this camera and what doesn't. And I like to, sometimes I'll joke if I'm out shooting with friends or whatever, I'll kind of flick it like Han does with the Millennium Falcon, and it turns on. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, like, sometimes like I'll be in the front yard, especially when it snows. I'm like, I got my ad out there. I'm like, hey man, I'm taking some pictures here. It's snowing.
Yeah.
I got, I like doing little Lego stuff too, because Lego's a nice small scale you can get big there. And so it's like, hey, or I, take my son out, like, hey, let's take some pictures of toys,
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
yeah,
absolutely.
it's cool. Yeah. I just, like when you go to more of a public place, I'm sure that's like, what is this dude doing over here?
Yeah, that took a long time for me to get used to. Like I said, It was a lot of kind of weird glances, like parents kind of shooing their kids along. And when I first would do it in my hometown, it was more often than not, I would run into people I went to high school with. So they're like, what is Sabin doing out in the grass right now? But as school went on, I kind of got to be known for doing that. So it was either, hey, I saw you playing in the dirt, that was really nerdy, or I saw you playing in the dirt, that was really nerdy, but that was really cool. So it kind of worked out like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's awesome. So what's next on the horizon for you? Like, are you you like this niche? Obviously you might need to get a new camera, but like kind of like this niche. Is this something that you kind of like to stay in this lane?
Yes, absolutely. My long-term goal since, well, maybe not day one, but day 5, I've always wanted to put out a book. It's been a dream of mine, whether it's a novel, maybe 5 years or 10 years down the road, or a coffee table book that's just a collection of my pictures. At this point, it's kind of looking more like a coffee table book. And of course, licensing with Star Wars and Disney, that's not easy. So
right.
I think I would probably have to start off with a military focus. But I have seen other toy photographers shoot Star Wars before, so I don't put it into books. So
right.
I'm trying to find out how I would do that without having to sell the rights to my book or the stuff that I put into it. But that's all up in the air at the moment. So that's kind of the big thing. Other than that, selling prints, just I've been getting pressured by my dad to somehow find a way to make money off this hobby.
right.
Yeah.
Where's the credits for this, man? What's happening?
Exactly. But no, at this point I have no desire to stop. I'm busier now than I was, 5-6 years ago, but I still love it. On a warm day, if I got nothing to do, I'll grab my totes and camera and head out, and I could spend anywhere between 4 to 10 hours out, and I wouldn't even feel like it passed a minute. I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Well, Max, where can people find you on the socials?
So I am on Instagram at Fav Models. That is my military, like World War II, modern conflict, and Star Wars page for stories, pictures, stuff like that. I also have another Instagram account called Shots from Sabin. That is my old Star Wars account that is now dedicated to aviation history. So that's where I share my collection of photos, 35 millimeter Kodachrome slides, stuff like that.
Wow.
I'm also on Facebook, 5 Models there. Interestingly enough, also on PlayStation as 5 Models. I'm still trying to build up my Battlefront 2 squad. So if anyone ever wants to play with me, I will happily oblige them.
There you go.
But yeah, those are
PlayStation
the
fan.
Yeah, there you go. Those are the main socials that I use. I have a Twitter, but I don't use that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We can't master them all. It's all good.
No, you
man.
cannot. But I tried to snatch up the name Bob models on all of them back in the day. So
That's good. That's smart. Yes, that's
Yeah.
great. Yes.
yeah, that's
That's
I'd say
awesome.
that's where I can be fun.
Yeah, cool. Well, I hope you can stick around. We got
Absolutely.
some more exciting stuff to do. But first, we got to do an ad read.
Oh my
All right,
God.
So Audible is audiobook service from Amazon, and you can get like 450,000 titles, and I'm sure there's some toy for photography books in there, and photography books and all that kind of stuff there on Audible. And you can get a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/WSTR, and you get one free Audible book and 2 exclusive audiobooks that are just Audible originals there. So you can go to audibletrial.com/WSTR to get your free 30-day trial. And if you want to support the show in a different way, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/WSTR media. And you can be like Jeremy Myers, Scarif Scuttlebutt, Elena Strikes, Nicholas Schaefer, and Rural Farm Boy. So check that out for exclusive content there. There you go. There's all the bills paid. Done. Carla, your turn.
Time to take out the trash. All right. So Twitter trash compactor this week, y'all. We're talking. Last week we had a big discussion about Star Wars Visions. Did a little synopsis and little analyzing of each episode, and we wanted to know what was everybody's favorite episode. So we asked people to drop some comments. We did get one right in from the Nerd Dev, I believe is the name here. That was not an easy vote. All 4 of these were so good, and all 4, meaning the Ninth Jedi, the Village Bride, the Elder, or the Duel. Good choices. Yeah. So what did everybody think? What was their fave? Have you guys finished yet? I know Aaron, I know you finished.
I got one more. I got one more to do.
Okay.
One more.
Yeah.
Max, how far are you with it?
I actually just started my first full-time job, so I've been super busy, so I haven't gotten to it yet.
Adulting.
I know.
He's adulting.
Boo.
That's okay. I'm about to start
Hopefully I
mine
can
on
get into
Monday.
it. Gotcha. I've heard nothing but good things about it, though, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's worth your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very cool watch.
I just love all the different. Everyone is different, visually different. I think that's the most exciting thing about it, and it's still Star Wars,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of similarities that you see in the films and in these, and that's what I was digging. Especially that what's the first one? Was the Duel?
Mhm.
I mean, you got them. There's a couple where right off that whole thing is they're fighting on the log. That's straight up from Revenge of the Sith with Anakin and Obi-Wan. There's that kind of waterfall barrier at one point, and that's kind of like Phantom Menace. And then actually when the action starts, it's a little cheroot where he's walking straight and everything else is chaos around him. He's just walking right straight through the battlefield. I'm like, I love Star Wars. I just love Star Wars.
So which one was your favorite?
Oh, I'm kind of with Aaron. I really digging TOB1, man. I just something about that goofy thing. I loved it. Village Bride 2, it reminds me of Princess Mononoke, so I really digging that one too. And then the first one, the Duel, I just love the animation style on that one. So, but yeah, I would have to go TOB1 on that one.
Nice.
A write-in.
That's-
I'm doing an errand. I'm doing a write-in. I'm staying with you and writing in.
Is that legal?
I'll make it
I
legal.
will make it legal.
So, Carl,
Yeah.
I know yours was Village Bride, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked the style. I liked the
Yep.
story.
Yep.
It was cool how they were able to put so much into something that was so short. And like some of these you could definitely see a continuation happening at some point.
Mhm.
Whether they do or not, who knows? But
Well, I hate to interrupt, but like I just go back to Gendy's micro series with the Clone Wars, and to me, that's like a masterclass in animation because he did that. He did a lot of stuff in less than 2 minutes, and you get the same thing here. It's amazing when you're constrained by that, but also there's like beauty in that where you can tell a pretty consistent story in animation, and it works. I mean, obviously there's stuff that you want to see more of, but that's part of it is like you're just jumping right in, seeing something, and you jump right out, and it's enough to like get to the feels or like look at something different. And I think that's a perfect medium, in what they did here.
Yeah. Agreed. But Twitter did not agree with any of our selections, our choices for our faves. Everybody liked The Ninth Jedi, which I could say that was a good one too. It was
Yeah, very close number 2 for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If Toby 1's my first, Ninth Jedi is number 2.
Okay. We'll allow that too.
No, you're
because we're in Chicago. In Chicago,
I'm not even on Twitter.
Yeah, well, and in Chicago we vote like 4 times, so it's good.
Yeah.
But coming in after that was The Duel.
Mm-hmm.
That one was pretty popular. Then The Village Bride.
Yep.
And then The Elder got no love, guys.
Oh,
people
shameful.
were not digging that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one too. I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But
cool.
that's it for the that's it for the garbage.
Take it down.
But guys, hold on here. I've got a lot of intercepted Imperial transmissions. I can't say it tonight. It's been so long.
That's okay. The bumper will say it right now. Here we go. There we
go. So yeah, we've got a few here. I know we also did ask about our favorite scene in Star Wars Visions, some favorite characters. We poked the bear with the Marsha Lucas thing. So let's see what people have to say. First one is from our friends at the Sidebar Cantina. Hey guys, what's up?
Hello.
And this was Kelly. She wrote into us and she said, my favorite scene from Star Wars Visions was in The Ninth Jedi when Lakara distributes her father's lightsabers to the Jedi at the Ariel Temple. Ethan who was the Jedi, had the blue lightsaber. The other Jedi then ignited their lightsabers. And to Cara and Ethan's horror, they discovered the others weren't the Jedi at all. They were boom, boom, boom.
Sith. You gotta say Sith.
Sith. Yeah.
You know what's cool about that one too? Cara was the code name for Rey forever when they were doing.
Oh.
So so that's a pretty cool little trivia nugget for you. So
little tidbit.
a little tidbit. That's my jam, obviously, like the behind the scenes stuff. And so Cara was like that placeholder for Rey before they land on Rey. So she was Cara for a long time in pre-production. Cool. So
interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder if they like drew from that directly.
Carla, come on. It's right there.
Oh, you never know.
What should we call this girl? I don't know. Cara. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So thanks, Kelly, for writing into us. And then next one here, we asked our favorite character in Star Wars Visions. And we got Jeffrey from Blue Milk Cafe, who
Hey, Jeff.
said every single character in Tatooine Rhapsody.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was
Good.
such
Good
a
one.
fun short. I know I've said it before,
Dude.
but I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Just to be able to tell that kind of story where they're just like, hey, what if we had a rock band in Star
Yeah.
Wars and not have to take it so seriously all the time? I really enjoy that.
Right.
Yeah. And Chibi Boba Fett.
Yeah. Dude, I'm digging on that Athorian guy that's just jamming out right at the beginning. He's kind of doing this little dubstep thing at the beginning. He's just jamming out to them.
Dubstep.
My jam. I was like,
dig it.
oh, I love you. I dig it. Dig it.
Yeah. So yeah, we got
Thanks, Jeff. That was
just
awesome.
one right in for there. And then we've got a voicemail from our pal Ro. Can we play that voicemail, Aaron?
Let's roll that tape.
Oh my gosh.
What's up, fellow Imperial nerds? This is Ro from the Scare Scuttlebutt podcast. I just wanted to chime in regarding your question on Twitter. What I think of Star Wars Visions thus far. I haven't finished it yet. I'm going slow, but I'm enjoying it overall. And actually, we talk a little bit about it in our new episode that hits tomorrow, Thursday. But I just wanted to say that it's very interesting. It's beautiful to watch, and it is very different. I love the way they're telling stories, very visual, and I think that's part of the anime method. And I know a lot of people may not be into anime, but it really is something that you should at least watch once, watch the entire series once, just to get a feel for it. I think it's a very innovative way of telling these little Star Wars stories, even if they're not canon. But I'm enjoying it for the most part. There's one or two that are just, too cute for their own good. You probably know which one I'm talking about. But, yeah, overall I'm enjoying it. Looking forward to a season 2. I think these are pretty good, kind of a really great experiment. But anyways, overall, really good, as I said. And keep up the good work over there at the WSTR Starship. Hey, maybe you should rebrand. Just kidding. Talk to you guys later. May the force be with you. And that's the Scuttlebutt.
Hey, thank you, Ro. Thank you so much.
I think he's talking. I don't think Ro liked Tatooine Rhapsody. That's not in Ro's demo.
Well, someone has to dislike it.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks, Ro, for the voicemail.
Very
we got
cool,
one more.
very
Do we got
cool.
one more? We got a lot here.
I think we've got 2 more.
Oh my gosh.
All right, here we go.
Right? It's a lot. It's
Yeah,
just
okay.
a lot. Just too much. So 2 weeks ago, we touched on the Marsha Lucas quote that was a little spicy in the Star Wars community.
Yeah.
And our friend David over from Tatooine Sons podcast wrote into us. And he said, while she's definitely entitled to her opinion and free to share it, it does seem a little bit like she doesn't approve of any Star Wars she didn't actually work on. It's been widely documented that Star Wars was saved in the editing, and Marsha Lucas was part of the team that won an Academy Award for their amazing work on the film. But I wonder if there isn't a bit of living in the past that might be provoking these statements on the sequels, which aren't all that different from her criticisms of the prequel trilogy, which we denote. Love all of you, awesome Star Wars fans. May the force be with you. Thank you, David. And I will say that's a very valid point, because that had crossed my mind after we had talked about it. And I was like, she's probably being a little biased. Just a little bit.
I've brought up this point before on past episodes, at least one. The idea of a grognard who's just they're super narrowly focused on one version of Star Wars that they declare to be the best. And this goes in a lot of different hobbies. They all have grognards.
Yes.
But they're the ones on the front porch and in their rocking chair being like, remember when? and without really appreciating like the new things that
Yes.
the new generations of Star Wars bring. So maybe there's some of that going on with Marsha Lucas. I don't know. It's hard because at this, if you're going to accuse someone of that, then it's almost like you're like assuming what their motive is, and that's a really tricky place to be.
Right.
At the same time, it is somewhat fair that most of what she's criticizing is things that she's not worked on. So perhaps a bit more of a balanced perspective can be had on it, but what she has to contribute and her viewpoint on things is just as valuable to take into account as well.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. Max, you got anything to weigh in on the old Marsha Lucas quote? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I remember reading a little bit about it.
Yeah.
I don't think it really crossed my mind that much. I don't know. Like I said, this is my first time being on the podcast.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the sequel trilogy to an extent. I really enjoyed The Force Awakens when it came out. I thought that was actually the most honest portrayal of combat we had seen in Star Wars. But I could also see where other people didn't like it. But I don't think what she said was super warranted, super fair. But that's just me. Try not to stir the pot with that one.
Yeah. Well, that's a separate podcast, but no,
Yeah.
I think what David says here is accurate. I mean, we brought up too, she was not too high also on the prequel trilogies. So, I mean, but at the same time, she was a lot closer to everything than we will ever be.
Yeah.
So she has a little rights there to say what she feels. And she's been in the biz, so she understands a little bit. But at the same time, kind of like what you were saying, Aaron, it's like, that was my Star Wars. And, none of this other stuff makes sense. And obviously there's also a little divorce in there as well. So
Yeah.
it's layer. We're layers here. There's a lot of layers there. So, I don't know. I think everyone has opinion and everyone's entitled to say what they feel about it. Obviously she has a little weight because she still kept the last name of the maker. So there's a little weight there. So that's where it just becomes gasoline to all the haters and like, oh yeah, that's what she said that. And now it's, so I think it just becomes a very clickbait kind of thing. When probably her intentions were pure, but it comes across like everyone's like behind Marsha Lucas now, like, so
Yeah.
But we got one more, right, Carla?
We do.
Oh my gosh.
So we had talked with Joe Robinson, our Thrawn expert.
Yes.
Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? Oh my gosh, I'm losing track of time.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Thank you. And he had quite a collection of stuff, Thrawn related and other stuff, Transformers, Maul. So we wanted to know what is your one holy grail of collecting?
The holy grail.
The one thing. And we got to write in. There's an email, but I don't know the name.
I don't know if we got a name.
We'll
just
Scoucher.
Scout share.
Scout share.
We're trying here, dude.
Yeah, we're trying.
And their holy grail of collecting is a screen used keyword here.
Yeah.
Screen use Graflex Luke Skywalker lightsaber hilt from A New Hope / Empire Strikes Back. That's legit.
That's
legit.
Is a holy grail for sure.
They had that at Celebration a couple of years ago. I wonder if this person snatched it up. Yeah, they had like the.
If they're still writing, if they're writing an email about 10 days ago, Aaron, they didn't snatch it up. It's out there for them.
No, I mean, if they
I'm
like
sure
got
there's
it, then.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I recall correctly, it was like it was a lightsaber, but then also like the prosthetic hand that was like attached to it with like the little mechanism that you would just like clip it off. But yes, it's a holy relic.
Yeah. Max, do you since you collect toys and shoot toys, do you have something though that you want to keep pristine and you want that holy grail?
Ooh, that'd probably be my my 375-inch Delta Squad Commandos. I kept the box because I could not keep myself or bring myself to throw that away. For the longest time I held on to all the boxes, but during COVID I had to break them all down, which broke my heart. But definitely definitely those Commandos, because they're my favorite. I love Republic Commandos so much. It's my go-to.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
gotcha.
I try. Those are the only ones that I'll bring back. I usually like to keep them dirty just so they look like they've been in combat. But those are the ones I'll bring back. I'll wipe them off with some soap, stuff like that.
Give them a little shower. Here you go, a little love. Yeah.
Exactly.
Carla, do you have a holy grail?
Ooh, that's tough. Cause I got a lot of
Stuff.
a lot of things.
A lot of things.
I would say, like, does it have? I mean, it's just anything Star Wars related, like anything in my okay.
It's broad. Yes. Yes. You don't. It doesn't have to be a toy. Whatever you want.
Oh my god! This is really hard for me. Okay, I'm gonna say probably my I have a hand-drawn portrait of Leia in the ceremonial like it's like almost like a bust kind of portrait, and it's all done in blue ballpoint pen by this guy Michael Thompson. Amazing artist. It was custom made for me. It was a gift. So that's like one of my very prized possessions. I absolutely love that drawing. Yeah.
But is there something that you're chasing? Like there's something, oh man, if you had unlimited resources.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So Funko Pop collector.
Okay, there it is.
So I used to go crazy over all of them, but now I'm like, okay, you can't be doing this anymore. So I just stick to like Leia, or if it's like a really cool exclusive, I'm like, all right, I'll do that. But I have every single Leia pop except the
San Diego,
the Bausch unmasked version of her. And it was a San Diego Comic-Con release, and they only made like 1,100, maybe not even. Yeah. And like you go on eBay and like forget it, like no less than $600 for the resell, like retail price. If you want that actual con sticker, you're talking like at least 1,200, maybe something like that. I'm like, yeah, maybe if I hit that Powerball or something, I could get it. But I'm not dropping $600 for a piece of plastic. Like, no. So that's like my one, my one sought after.
There you go, Aaron. If you had unlimited resources, is there a holy grail that you would?
I'm gonna be poor until Monday, so collecting is not really been a thing. But
right.
If I had like unlimited cash, something that I've been really interested in collecting, but never had the money to, is like animation cells. So the bit that they actually draw on and then lay over the background before they photograph it. So having like a really nice Clone Wars animation cell, I think would be really cool.
That's cool.
That's dope. Well, I'm a kid of the 80s, and I sent in my proof of purchases, and I never got my rocket firing Boba Fett, and that would be the one I want. Yeah, that to me is like the holiest of the holiest grails. And there's a couple out there, they some magically appear, but that would be something. It's just like Boba Fett was my jam, and I was so excited to get the rocket firing, but kids died. I mean, it was the thing, but so on it was actually Battlestar Galactica toys that like had some firing missiles and some kid choked or whatever, and so that ended the Boba Fett route. But that would be something I would really want. And then if I had unlimited, something definitely from the movie. Like I like what Scout said here about like a loot lightsaber or something like that. Like give me a Death Star panel or something, man. That would be like pretty dope. Be like, yeah, that's part of the Death Star right there. I don't know. Just be a fun conversational piece, to have something from the movies. They have those like kind of like overbridden, like, oh yeah, here's like all these things that are sold from the movies. It'd be fun to have something from the actual film, Man, that was a lot of incepted Imperial transmissions, Carla.
Right? It's like
some kind of a
it's
record.
either like it's all or nothing. Like, but we love it. We love it. So
yes.
Keep it coming. We got to keep it consistent.
Keep it coming.
Right, Hans?
That's
Hans
right.
knows.
Right. Catch our bye.
So now that we've gone through our intercepted transmissions, we can move on to our news of the week. All right. So first item of business here. Dune, people. It's coming out soon.
Yes.
October 22nd, right? I believe is the date. But we've got an article here from sci-fi.com that says why Star Wars was the elephant in the room when it came to designing Denis Villeneuve's, I can't say that name, Dune. Yeah. So if you're not like super familiar with Dune, it's been around for quite some time, but way before Star Wars came out. So it kind of like set the tone for the, sci-fi fantasy kind of thing, genre. And it says here that, the filmmaker Denis Villeneuve is looking to change all of this with the arrival of his big budget and star-studded adaptation that releases later this month. The project has been percolating inside his mind for over 3 decades, ever since he read the book as a kid. His dream finally came to fruition when Warner Brothers agreed to fund the big screen effort, but there was only one problem.
What's that, Carla?
So much of this and his vision had already seeped into the pop culture, way of films and shows. More particularly with Star Wars, we have a lot of similar, themes and settings and places.
And sand.
Yes. Sand
and Tatooine, sand. And
no sand therapy, though.
No.
Shaking my head.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so the challenge that he faces is adapting, this source material that's huge and that so many have considered to be unfilmable, and present it in a unique interpretation that could separate itself from anything we've seen before. Sound familiar, Lord of the Rings fans?
Oh.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to consolidate.
It's literally what Peter Jackson did. Yep. So, but yeah, they said it was a long process to find its identity in a world with the giant elephant of Star Wars. George Lucas was inspired by Dune when he created Star Wars. Then as they were making the movie, we had to negotiate the influence of Star Wars. So it's like coming around full circle, which is pretty cool. Yeah. He said with the design team, you have to stick as close to the descriptions in the book. I really want the fans to feel that I somehow put a camera in their mind. It's a compliment when people say that they recognize the flavor and poetry of the book in the film. The objective was to not have a strong imprint of my personality on Dune. It was more important to make sure that we had the humility to be as close to Frank Herbert's mind as possible. Yeah, and just a little like tidbit here at the end. There, if all things go well, there will be a part 2. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it's pretty cool to see that, like how it comes around.
I mean, Star Wars has so many influences, again, with this anime, you can see the Japanese influences of, Jedi Master and Samurai. I mean, those are all, and we have Westerns, spaghetti Westerns, and all this kind of stuff, Flash Gordon, it's all melting pot. And now that you have these Zygost out there, like, it's so big. I mean, you're going to run it, anytime you do a sci-fi, you probably like, oh, this kind of looks like Star Wars. And sometimes that's a compliment because it's like the designs of the ships and everything like that lived in space is something that a lot of people replicate because it works, So
yeah. Have any of you guys read the books?
New.
Yeah.
No. I've seen the movie. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the movie that made no sense back in the day.
I haven't seen the original, so
you're not. Yeah, you can't.
Should I just forget it and just go see the new one?
Yeah, see the new one first, then go back and like, oh, okay,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
It's really, it's just like he said in the article. It's like you're trying to consolidate this huge story in a 2-hour movie. Sometimes it's impossible, and that's why you got to go like, you just like, if you cut too much, it doesn't make sense. And that's exactly what's on screen in the 1980s whatever version. It's like, these guys are on spice. I don't know what's going on. There's some family beef, and there's a big fat guy floating around that I remember. I was like, I don't know what I'm watching. I'm not sure. So
yeah, I mean, I saw the trailer. It looks pretty cool. So
yeah.
I mean, Oscar Isaac and Jason Momoa are in it, so I'm all about it. Fangirling, sorry.
At least if the story sucks, you'll get some eye candy.
There you go.
I wonder what David Lynch will think of it when it comes out.
Oh.
This movie's a garbage can. Who knows?
And on the topic of movies, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, apparently is doing pretty well, considering all things. So this article is from IndieWire.com, and the sequel to Venom grosses $90 million, the best opening since Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. And it did better than The Many Saints of Newark and Titan. I don't know what that one is, but it's supposedly it's doing pretty good. It says here, no single film can possibly restore the box office to pre-pandemic levels, but the Sony title opened to $90 million in North America. In short, exactly what history tells us to expect from the Marvel character sequel.
Yeah.
So it became the biggest first weekend since Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker in December of 2019.
Oof, that's a long time.
And with $130 million, this weekend also represents the highest box office total since mid-February 2020.
Ooh,
wow. That's
4 times.
Right. That's pre-pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, the movies, I mean, it's funny because like the movie I've been hearing is not very good, but it's getting butts in the seats. And that's honestly, sometimes that's all that matters. And that's healthy for the studio to be like, all right, yeah, let's, because this is one of those movies that got delayed like 3 bazillion times, and they wanted in the theaters and they finally got it. And they're showing that, which is great. I mean, it's great to see, a little healthy box office.
Yeah. Yeah,
than
I mean, I
anything-
think in
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say, I mean, they talk about, like the Saints of Newark and stuff, but like you have to think about how the streaming services are affecting that too. Because like with HBO Max, if you subscribe, like you don't have to pay to see that. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna lose out on all that money.
Right. Yeah. Well, and yeah, Disney kind of learned itself with Scarlet too. I'm like,
Yeah. Yikes.
yikes.
Yeah, I wonder
Nice.
if the success of this, if it signals a kind of a return to movie theaters, because I know at one point it was really kind of up in the air whether movie theaters would be a part of the future of movies anymore.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Tenet was supposed to be the movie to save movie theaters again, but that was a joke. And that turned out to be Tom and Jerry did a lot better. And we're kind of still in this gray area where it's like, could we see this new kind of movie streaming release to home kind of model? Do we really even need movie theaters anymore? But they're still like holding on with every ounce of strength they have. This kind of seems to indicate that, yeah, maybe they're coming back.
Yeah. I think it just has to do with the whole experience of a movie theater,
Yeah.
right? Because like
Absolutely.
so like I went to see Lord of the Rings, all three extended, like on the big screen. And I've watched those movies how many times, but like to sit in a theater and watch it with that huge screen, the sound, like just the whole experience. Like you can't get that watching it on your TV at home, It's totally different. Like when with Shang-Chi, like Brian and I were like, no, we want to go see it like in the theater just because Marvel has, so much going on with the effects and all that good stuff. Yeah,
and it's great seeing it in the theater. I agree. I mean, that's something I'm like, I'm glad I saw that in the theater. It was fun, instead of waiting for Disney Plus or whatever, it's like, I want to see that. So.
Yeah.
Do you guys know if drive-in theaters did well during COVID for movies? I feel like if you couldn't leave your car or if it was outdoors in a public space, like one of my all-time dreams, I hope it happens before I die, I want to see 4, 5, and 6 at a drive-in. I think that would be so cool. But obviously drive-in theaters are kind of a thing of the past, but you would think that
I think that's
brought them back.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem is that there's just not too many of them, so it's not like you could like, hey, just go to the drive-ins. Well, there's not many per state, and I think that's where a studio couldn't live off of that, I'm sure they did. And I know a lot of pop-up people, like, hey, let's just throw this on the projector or throw this on a wall and you could watch it, via your car or whatever. But a traditional drive-in is very rare, these days. So
we actually
I wish there was
one.
more. I really do. I wish there was more. Yeah, more,
We have one right down the road from us. And we went, and we went a couple of times like over the summer, and it was usually like pretty packed. Like there was a decent amount of people, but you definitely can't pack a drive-in theater the way you do, a regular movie theater. And also like, you get like crappy sound coming through your radio. You could like barely hear it because we saw Black Widow in the drive-in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I wish,
I would love to see the originals in drive-in. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
They got to pay for it.
Yeah, they got to pay for it.
They got to pay for it.
All right, what else we got, Carla?
All right. The next news business, guys, seriously, save like all your money. Here's my tagline for this. You must be.
What is it?
You must be this rich to ride this ride.
That should have been the teaser.
Because the Disney Galactic Star Cruiser is going to officially start taking reservations and bookings as of March 1st.
Okay.
And no, I'm sorry. You can start making reservations October 28th to start
Ooh.
visiting March 1st.
Whew.
Yeah.
So not till 2022.
Correct. Disney Vacation Club members, Disney Pass holders, and Disney Visa card members are being teased with a special booking opportunity. So, AKA before us poor peasants. So-
They're in boarding group A.
yeah.
yeah.
But if you guys don't know anything about this, the Galactic Star Cruiser is a first of its kind vacation experience that goes beyond anything Disney has created before. It's basically kind of like a cruise almost, like, you go on and everything's
It's a
available to
cosplay.
you
It's
there.
cosplay. It's like you pay. Yeah.
It's
It's
LARPing.
LARPing. You're LARPing. It's LARPing.
Pretty much.
You are LARPing in Star Wars land. That's
Yeah.
what you're doing.
So it offers a 2-night experience where you're totally immersed within a Star Wars story. The cost depends upon the number of people in your cabin, the level of the cabin chosen, and the days of the week and the time of the year when booked.
Okay.
Do we,
A lot of factors.
right? Do you want?
So if you're saying if I'm a family of 4 and I want to go Christmas, how much is that going to cost me, Carla?
All right. So according to this, for a standard cabin,
Yeah.
I believe,
Yeah.
for 4,
Yeah.
it's going to cost you $6,000 for
Fantastic.
for
Put
two,
that on the credit card.
for 2 nights.
Two nights.
For 2 nights.
See, guys,
Yeah.
we could get our holy grails easy for that for that $6K.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dude, Max, I think we could buy a drive-in theater and fix it up for $6K.
You're onto something. I like this. A Star Wars themed drive-in
That-
theater. Just don't tell.
That's
Disney.
right. Yeah, that is just an insane amount of money
Yeah.
for 2 days.
And it's not
I-
that
I-
much cheaper. Like, so it's for 2 people,
Yeah.
it's 4,809. For 3 people, it's 5,299, and then 5,999 for 4. But it includes the 2-night stay, food and beverages, excluding alcohol and specialty drinks. So you still gotta pay for that. Admission to Disney's Hollywood Studios. So I believe they take you to Galaxy's Edge at one point.
Well, the hotel's not moving, Carla. It's there.
They have buses, Todd.
I heard there's a way that they're gonna like take people from the Star
Yes.
Cruiser and you land
Yes.
on Batu and like
Yes.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disney
Through, like,
magic.
The utilidors, maybe?
So it's kind of like
Hey. Listen,
what is it's like you basically park at the parking lot, and then after that it's all Star Wars. You're in LARP land. You're LARPing from the minute you leave your
LARPing.
car.
Yep.
And then when you exit the park, there's like a special entrance that is exclusive to the cruise members.
Yeah.
So maybe
I
come in
mean-
like a little shuttle. That'd be fun, you know.
I
like
can
golf
tell
cart
you
shuttle.
after being on Rise of the Resistance, like you forget where you are. You forget you're on like this planet.
But my bank
So-
account will not
I
forget
know.
where I'm at because I'm shelling out like $6K,
your
man.
checking
That's
account's just screaming like
oh
but-
man.
but yeah,
we can't
there's
make the
a-
mortgage, can't make those car payments, but we got to LARP hardcore for 2 days.
and apparently there's
Oh.
there's a grand captain suite that will hold up to 8 guests. So I can only imagine how that much would cost. That's got to be at least, yeah,
10.
that's got to be like
10.
10 grand.
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
They better dress me up like I like to be like Joe. Dress me up like Grand Admiral Thrawn, and I get to lead all these yahoos if
Yeah.
that you're in the captains, you know.
So I think so. The one thing that is cool about this is that they are going to be encouraging people to dress up and cosplay. I don't know if there's restrictions like how the parks have it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I know that they have been encouraging people to like kind of get creative and come up with your own character. I don't know if they're going to allow you to dress as face character. Like, I don't know, but I know cosplay and costuming is going to be a big part of it.
I mean, there's something.
No.
I mean, just like again, Last Jedi, Cantabite. The idea of like going into something like that, and there's just everyone's like in it. I mean, would be a cool experience. You know, I get that. That's great, but the price is just
Yeah.
it's in a different galaxy. It just seems like that's way too much money to LARP, and that's what you're doing. You know, I'd rather, you know,
I'd rather go to Middle Earth with that money. Just saying.
Woo! I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah.
you. Let's stay at like
That's my
let's stay at the
thing.
Shire. I would stay at the Shire for 6K and, you know, field some corn and whatever else.
I mean, the fact that it's only 2 nights,
it's just
that to me that's where I'm like,
if they gave me like, you know, could they throw in like a Skyhopper or a Land Speeder with that price? I'm in, man.
at least give me one alcoholic drink. Like,
Give me some of that blue milk.
sheesh. Yeah.
To be fair, they say
Yeah.
prices begin that low, and that's for 2 nights.
Yeah.
I'm sure it goes up.
Yeah.
You could be like, stay there for a week.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No. That's the idea. They want it short because they want you to get into the park. So it's like you're technically going on a space cruise and you're arriving at Batu. So you can't stay more than max 3, I think. It's just like you're in and out.
Yeah.
That's the whole. But I mean, the money that they're gonna make on this is just like, I mean, 6K a pop. That's just like they're fun. They could have like 6 galactic hotels or something.
Although, to be fair, that's probably what you're going to be spending anyway if you're bringing a family along to Disney for a week. You're just kind of concentrating it to a few days. I would really love to see like an in-depth review of what this entails by someone who kind of takes one for the team and just goes for it.
I know people, so I know I will find out.
Thank you. Yes.
Because who knows? Maybe it'll be worth it.
Debatable.
Maybe it's a con job. Who knows?
Well, the Empire is definitely put in. They're getting the money's worth off of this one. So
they're coming out ahead.
Yeah. So
All
buy
right,
your
Carla,
lottery
what else?
tickets, guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
And finally,
All right, what we got?
guys, we've got a date for the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh my god!
What?
But it's a little bit later than expected. The series will premiere on Disney Plus December 29th. Not too many details. The poster is sick. So cool. Because Todd, you had shared it, and I was like, "Wait, is this legit?" Like,
the date's right on the bottom. Yes, it's legit.
well, hey, fan art can be very convincing. That's why I was like,
"That's true." There was a Cad Bane one floating around. I was like,
I was almost fooled by that one. That's why I was like, "Wait a minute." So the Book of Boba Fett, a thrilling Star Wars adventure, finds legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett and mercenary Fennec Shand navigating the galaxy's underworld when they return to the sands of Tatooine to stake their claim on the territory once ruled by Jabba the Hutt and his crime syndicate.
Yes.
So
it's like the many saints of Newark.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. No, they didn't give the episode count, did they?
They did not. We got very little info. Just December 29th.
Be ready.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah.
People on the East Coast stay up till like 3 a.m. I'm like, you guys are nuts. Like, that's yeah, no. But yeah, we're getting
Max,
boba.
Max, you excited for Book of Boba?
Absolutely. Yeah. I will say though, I think I'm looking a little bit more forward to Andor, but I love Boba Fett. But yeah, Andor,
Yeah.
I want to see where they go with that, because
Yes.
if it's a prequel to Rogue One, just kind of how we saw him in Rogue One, I'm pumped. But I'll say I love getting new Star Wars content. It's making my day.
Yeah, that's right. 29th. But I was hoping we have it a little bit before Christmas, you know,
What
because
is-
like I feel like Mandalorian season 1 started in October, and then Mandalorian season 2 started in November, and now we're getting like real late. It's like
December 29th is a Wednesday, people.
yeah, this is the Loki thing. Yeah, this is the Loki thing. So they're going after Bad Batch. Remember, they said that everything is going to be on Wednesdays now. So they did that with What If, you know, and now they're releasing everything on Wednesdays. I don't like, I mean, for me, Friday was kind of cool. Like, all right, after work, I'm going to get into the weekend. Like the Wednesday thing, it's like there's so much going on. It's like, okay, now I gotta lock in here and try to make that happen, you know. So
it's kind of a nice way to break the week up.
True.
But then like just knowing like how excited you would be after watching an episode of Mando, and you're like, thank God it's Friday, because I would not be able to focus on anything after that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm like. Thursday, you might as well just take off Thursdays, because I'll be like, man, I'm just gonna be talking about Book of Boba for like, once I find out the episode count, I'll be like, all right, well, maybe I'll take every other Thursday off and just.
Yeah, I'm thinking they might stick to like the 8 episode.
I think 8 for I mean I think 8 obviously, like Obi-Wan, they're talking like it's gonna be like 4, you know, and Andor, I don't know, maybe 6 hopefully. I'm hoping 8. I don't know. Yeah. Andor is gonna be a movie. I mean, both Obi-Wan and Andor are movies, just broken out, you know. Yeah. Where I think obviously Book of Boba follows kind of the same formula as Mandalorian, where it's a little episodic, but I mean, really, Obi-Wan and Andor are movies, like just broken out.
Because I know like Obi-Wan and Andor they're confirmed as miniseries, correct?
Correct.
Do we know what Boba is?
Although Boba, I think Boba's a one-time deal. Don't bet on that, but I heard though Andor might continue. Like there could be like a season 2.
Interesting.
Because they teased, Alan Tudyk came out and they teased them, and he basically said he's not in the film. He's not in the first season here. So they haven't got the K2 yet. So I really want to see some K2. So please make a season.
Yeah, they gotta show that meetup.
They gotta show that.
It's like,
he's just being, or he's doing the best poker face. He's like, yeah, I'm not in it. You know.
That's like having the Solo movie and not showing how Han and Chewie met each other.
Pretty much.
I mean, they're a duo, so
yeah. Agreed. But I'm with you. I'm with you, Max. I think Andor is going to be awesome because it's a movie. They shot a movie, and I'm all for that. That was a lot of news, Carla. Wow.
I mean, I'm working hard tonight, guys.
All the news that's fit to print.
But now we get to talk about all the nerdy things we've been up to.
Oh my God. News of the week. No, Cantina Chat. Yes, I've done this before. It's Cantina Chat. Part of the show where we talk about everything geeky and weird going on with our lives. Todd, what are you up to?
Oh, man. So celebrated 20th anniversary with my wife, Jen. So that was Wednesday.
Hey! Congratulations.
Yeah, so thank you. So that was a big old deal. I mean, we didn't really do anything. No, we went out to dinner, which was fun. And I got this in the mail. This is a Heir to the Empire, Star Wars 50th anniversary, Luke Skywalker with a Yasma mirror, which is like a lizard guy, and
Ooh.
it's got this cool, like, it's from Heir to Empire. It's got this kind of Dark Horse comic thing, and yeah, got a little Luke Skywalker thing. So that was cool. I ordered that like a bazillion years ago, and then I'm building this, which is a Lego Imperial troop transport thingy from the Mandalorian. So it's got Grief, Karga, Artillery Stormtrooper, a couple other Stormtroopers. Yeah, so I'm building that right now, which is fun. I like Legos. So yeah, I got those kind of cool things going on. And then, did Star Wars Visions, watched through that, finally got to that, which is great. And then we checked out the Terrifying Tales, the Lego little horror thing on Disney Plus as well with the family.
Mhm.
And that's super cute. It's super Lego, super funny. And basically they take Darth Vader's castle and try to make it into like a scary hotel. And it's funny. It's Lego. It's exactly what you think Lego is. And they do a lot of references that most of the kids won't get, but they're like, there's like a little horror references there, and nothing terribly scary for them, but it's pretty cool. So did that. So that was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Carla, what have you been up to this week?
Well, I was on the hunt for a PlayStation 5. I woke up at 5:45.
How many times? Like, yeah, a couple times.
Last Wednesday and last Thursday.
Oh, you poor thing.
Wednesday, it was like rumored it could be Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I woke up early Thursday. Yeah. Sat on the computer from 6 until like 7:45 and it never dropped.
Oh.
It's just through Target. And then I followed this guy on Twitter. Jake Randall is his name, and he gets like the scoop, and he does like a whole live he does a whole live stream, which is like a whole other thing. But then he's like, okay, like it didn't drop today, it's definitely gonna drop tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get up again. 5:45, great. Like sitting on the computer, same thing. And like, I'm tired. I got my coffee, and this guy starts his live stream, and it's just like way too much energy for me at 6 a.m. Like he's got music. He does this thing. It's like a hype sesh. And he's like dancing and like finger guns and the thing. And I'm like, oh my God, I just want to get a PlayStation. Like that's all I want. So finally, like 7:40, it happens, it's like in The Office with Michael Scott. Oh my God, everybody, it's happening.
Everyone say, come.
So I followed all of the steps. I know it's not guaranteed, but like I followed all the steps. I took all of his advice. I had the damn thing in my cart. It said place order. I clicked place order. The page loads and I'm like, yes, I got it. Tells me my cart is empty. So I'm like, I just stayed up for 2 hours more than I could have. Like I was just like, I can't. So then later in the day,
I'm like furiously texting you. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, Todd's like
I'm trying to find all the links. I'm dropping all the links to you. I'm like, okay, it's happening.
That's cute.
So thanks to Todd, I found out that Best Buy had a drop like in the middle of the afternoon. So like, of course I don't have a Best Buy account. So I'm like trying to like create an account as fast as I can, like doing all that stuff. I don't get it. And my friend Elena, who you guys had met, comes in clutch and texts me and goes, yo, I got one. And I'm just like, oh my God, I owe you my life. Like, thank you so much. So yeah, we got to go pick it up in the store this week.
Wookiee life debt right there, baby.
Exactly.
Nice.
Elena, if you're watching, girl, I love you. Thank you so much. But yeah, so that's
Yeah, no, I mean,
yeah.
once you said you're on the hunt, I'm like, all right, I'm looking at all, I got all my links too from Twitter. I'm just like, all right, it's coming. It's coming.
It's crazy.
It's everything, just like I was saying to you, it's like it's the whole car industry thing. It's like all this electronical crap that we need is unfortunately being manufactured overseas, and there's a shortage and there's people shortage, and
It's a nightmare right now.
it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy that we don't have, like, the United States doesn't have as much manufacturing as it should for this kind of stuff, because it really I mean, car industry is going to lose like $500 billion because they got these cars that can't get off the lot, and it's like, it's crazy. And it's the same thing with video games. I mean, the consoles, we're coming up to almost a year from the release, and they're still not in stores. It's not like you just walk in and be like, I want a PlayStation or I want an Xbox, I went through the same thing that you did, Carla, so.
As it turns out, human rights are quite expensive. So that's why.
Oh, that's true. I don't want to say, but really, we should have more plants here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's that simple. You're like, you're bringing a whole economy and a lot of services to your knees because of that not being processed over here.
Well, to step briefly on my soapbox and then swiftly off again. COVID's exposing a lot of systems that had weaknesses that we had the luxury of ignoring earlier.
You're
not so much
absolutely, that's right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So
anyway, Max, what have you been up to?
I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I pre-ordered 2 of those GameStop clone Jump Troopers from the Battlefront Gaming Greats line.
Nice.
Hopefully going to get those eventually. And then the boss release for the Gaming Greats too. That was one that I was really looking forward to. And then we saw the pictures and it just broke my heart. I was like, because it's, I don't know. Do you guys collect Black Series at all?
No.
I dabble.
Yeah.
I have to get Luke, like I dabble,
Gotcha. Well, it's based on a disproportionate mold that was used for Hunter from the Bad Batch. So it's like they kind of got a little lazy when they were making it, and that's kind of been the huge talk of the toy community. Like, oh, why didn't they go all in with this, or yada yada yada. But at the end of it, I'll probably end up getting it, just to be honest. But that's just how it is with Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
For me.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. Other than that, nothing too crazy though. So I after listening to you guys talk about Visions, I have to put it on my list now.
There you go.
Do it.
Yeah. And you could like do it in short chunks, like watch a couple episodes and
So are they about 30 minutes long, or are they shorter or longer than that?
They're like average like 13 minutes.
Oh,
So they're pretty short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for me not to watch them.
Right.
Yeah, I think
like total, I got 13 minutes. Yeah.
I think total, like all 9 episodes, it's like an hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Yeah.
Very bingeable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Carla, you do have something else though. You're famous.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
I'm so rude.
I
I'm so
forgot.
sorry.
I feel it.
We were getting political there, and like Aaron's like, let's cut this off. Let's just cut it.
So sorry, Carla.
That's okay. So we did the Ren Fair here in New York. It was their last weekend, their closing weekend. So Brian and I had been working on our non-Star Wars costumes.
How dare you?
Such a nerd. You're such a nerd.
Well, I'll tell you, it's like, it was weird, but like after the fact, I'm like, oh my gosh, like not that I don't have fun in my Star Wars costumes, but like just to do something that's so drastically different, like it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So
good rush.
So we cosplayed as Nadja and Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows.
Nice.
And oh my god, it was so like Brian made the cursed hat and like everything. Oh my god, it was just so good. But so we went to the Ren Fair, and we had a decent amount of people like figure out who we were. Some people were like, oh, vampire. I'm just like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I guess you're technically right.
It's kind of like TIE Fighter or Darth Vader. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But like
TIE Fighter
people
pilot,
were
Darth
like,
Vader. Yeah, you got it.
yeah. But like people were like, catching us. They're like, it's that hat. And I'm like, yes, it's a bloody cursed hat. Like, and like they had like the knights doing the jousting, and Aaron, you know the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like how Najaf tries to find Gregor like in every lifetime. So I was like yelling at the guy, I'm like, Gregor, my sweet Gregor. But so I tweeted it and I tagged Taika and Jermaine, who are the two show creators. And Jermaine replied to the tweet and was like, stay out of the sunlight. And I was like, oh yeah, like true. We technically shouldn't be outside,
right,
during the day. But yeah. And like I think I'm still getting like notifications for it. Like it's the most action I've had on Twitter. So I was like,
look at you go.
So yeah, that was fun. But yeah,
That's awesome.
a lot of fun to play her because she's
great.
She's off the rails.
That's awesome. Aaron, how about you?
Yes. I'm starting my new job next week. So
Wow.
And just in time, my current job this week is going to be absolutely bonkers, crazy. So I'll be put through the ringer, but wouldn't have it any other way. And then last week I mentioned my friend visited from Vegas, and we ended up perusing some like used bookstores, and I completely neglected to mention I got the 3 Republic Commando novels. You
didn't mention that last week.
No, I forgot because I'm an idiot. But they had all 3 Republic Commando novels there, so I'm just like, shoot, I'll just get it now.
Yeah.
That brings my like currently reading list up to like 7 books now, so I'm probably not going to get to it for a while. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got them sitting on my table. And then I watched Office Space for no reason at all.
Great film.
I hadn't seen it for many years, but when I watched it again, I'm like, oh, I feel all this very differently now. Now that I've worked in an office job, and the just how accurate the soul crushing monotony is. But I've also I'm much more familiar now with what Mike Judge has been up to and all the different stuff that he's done, and so kind of understanding it with that mindset, I really appreciated that a lot more. And just like picking up on little details, like the little like corporate sculpture like outside the Inditech office is literally a square peg in a round hole. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, I don't have much else to say except there's just a very specific energy that movie has that I really love, and really enjoyed.
Yes.
Other than that, not really much on the nerdy side of things, except more just adulting side of things. Like, my new job, I'm going to be making like 4 times what I make now, and so I can actually think about things like investing and retirement and
lightsabers and galactic cruises,
paying off debt and traveling. And I kind of had this like this kind of Yoda on Dagobah moment where I had to like sit and think about my life and what I wanted to look like now that I have options. Which I'm making a goof out of it, but it was also kind of a serious thing where it's like,
I get it.
What do I want to do with my life?
Right.
So yeah, good stuff. That's
it's like another phase. It's a phase. You're like, okay, now I'm stepping into adulthood, like for real.
Not a Padawan anymore.
Right. That's awesome, man.
So yeah, that's about all I got.
Okay.
All right. So
Excellent.
thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR, Galactic Public Access. You can find us on the socials, Heather at Hawk Awesome, Carla at Carla Marie Giac, Todd at Tizod, myself at Aaron Julian, and Red 5 Network at Red numeral 5 Network. And of course, our own tag at WSTR Media. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star rating, we'll throw some swag right into your face. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. Leave us a voicemail like Ro did, and we'll play it on an upcoming episode of the show. You can also reach out to us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You can catch our entire back catalog of episodes at podcast.wstrmedia.com. And you can find our merch store, store.wstrmedia.com, and our Patreon at patreon.com/WSTRmedia. Stay tuned. We are introducing some radical new content for our Patreon. Details to follow.
Radical.
You won't want to miss it.
Tubular, dudes.
Cowabunga. Thanks for hanging out in the YouTube chat, everybody. That's right. We stream our recording sessions live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time ish.
And you get to see cats. Lots of cats.
Yes. We've had no less than 2 cats on the stream. Just constantly.
2 cat per episode. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Yes,
exactly.
that's our guarantee. And you can see in the YouTube chat. We're talking to each other, but we're also hanging out in the YouTube chat. So it's a great way to just interact with us a little bit, get to see our faces, place a face to a voice.
And some cats.
Yeah.
And we won't digitally remove anything.
No.
We don't do that here. No.
If cat butthole is on there, then cat butthole is on there.
That's right. That's right. We do not digitally remove. It's raw.
Yep. All right. Max, once again, thanks for coming onto the show. Where can people find you again?
I can be found on Instagram at Fav Models. I can be found, Fav Models on Instagram is basically the main one. I have a couple other accounts on there. Yep, correct. FOV as in Forces of Valor model.
Ooh, I see.
Yeah.
I was thinking Field of Vision, but I like that a lot more.
I hear that all the time, but Forces of Valor is actually the brand name that made the tanks, but Star Wars came after.
Interesting.
But you guys, thank you so much for having me on. I truly appreciate it.
It was a ton of fun.
Awesome. So thank you all. I really
I hope you learned a little bit. I hope you got entertained a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Super fun having you on. Next week, episode 241, we are doing an Imperial inspection on Darth Revan. I think that's our first Imperial inspection on a non-canon character. Kind of canon now, maybe?
It is. Yes. Yeah. He's kind of canon.
It'll be fun. So please tune in next week. You won't want to miss it. All right. There's only one way to end this show. Now this is podcasting.